Alfred Sr. One of my viewers on YouTube asked me how I created the snippets that I did and what extension I used. I'm going to go through what I did to get to where I was and where I'm at now and how I create extensions, because that has changed even in the last short little while. So let's first start out with an empty folder, which I've got, but if you look here, I've got 2 files in it, but they're empty, nothing in them. So if I want application.cfc, I type app, nothing happens. I try typing anything. Now if I go down here, I type in doc, I don't have anything happen. That's supposed to, is another way it was supposed to show up, the boilerplate. So let's start with nothing working, and the place I would go is I would go here to preferences, come down here to configure snippets. So what we want is we need a new snippet. There's a couple different ways you can go about it. If you want to make snippets that are going to be other languages as well, then you might want to do a global snippets. Let's just do a CFML snippet, because this is ColdFusion code that we're getting ready to do. Here's an example snippet that we could uncomment and we could actually make changes to. But instead, what I'm going to do is, I've coded for years, so I used to build the application.cfc on the fly myself, but I've gotten used to using snippets. So if you do a search into my GitHub account, you'll find under NA Stanford a VS Code snippets file, which there's this one and there's this one. This is the one we want for today. This one is only one. There's 2 snippets in here. There's only one here. So we're going to go in here and we're going to say, okay, let's copy this. Now I can either copy it like this, or I could hit raw and it would show the raw code and I could copy that. So let's come back here to snippets. Let's get rid of the example. Now, if you notice up here, it talks about $1, $2, $0. When you create a brand new file, it kind of gives you a hint on how all this works. These are different placeholders. So let's just delete what's here, because we don't need all those comments. We can get them again if we need them. And I just pasted in. So in here, and I probably should not have done that. Let's see. Yeah, I did it right. Okay. Because each snippet, no, I didn't. Okay. So let me undo for just a second. Let me select all, delete everything, and paste. Because you want one of these on the outside, and then for each snippet at the end, you need a comma for the next snippet. I always go ahead and put a comma, so if I want another snippet, I'm ready to go. So when I get done with this snippet, it's going to go here to this $1 sign, allow me to type in an application name. And in case I have a different database name, when I come here, it's going to let me, it's going to tab from there to there. After I've typed in the application name, it's going to go to data source name. So then I can type in what the data source name is. These are just starter functions. Now, if you have particular things you do every time that you do an application, like maybe you want this to be set to 1 hour instead of 30 days, or maybe you want this set to 2 hours, 3 hours, whatever your set timeline is at work or wherever you're working, you change it to fit into that. Now, when you go through this, you can see this is what the title is. Now, I'm going to recommend, if you're using my apps, to start adding in to the prefix in the description somewhere. You may want to add something like custom snippets, custom snippet, and then put a dash or something. The reason you do this is in case you have a system or a special snippet that you're using all the time that's part of a system, or maybe you go to work somewhere and they have different snippets that they want to give you. This keeps all of your snippets separate. Now, I could even do NS for my initials. So every time I see my initials, I know that's my snippet. I recommend you change this to whatever's best for you. I think I'm going to go ahead. I've used this different ways, and normally I don't even put that in, but I've been starting to do it because I've been growing in snippets, and I like to know which one's mine. So if I go here, I've got the custom snippet in. I haven't really done anything special. I come here, and I simply start to type app, and it didn't work. So let's see. It didn't say it's saved. That's this file. It said it's saved. CF app. Let's see. Okay. I'm used to typing app when I get my application. So I'm just going to type app. Okay. Let me see. So for some reason, sometimes when I do this, the CFML one will not work. So this is why I use the global one. So I got it to work on one of my applications where CFML, CFC, so we're in a CFC. So let's just copy all of this, save. Now we don't have it at all. Let's go back down here. Let's try the CFC. So we go to configure settings. Instead of doing a global one just yet, we're going to go down here to CFC because we are inside of an application CFC. Same instructions. We delete that. We paste this. We save. We come back here and we type app, and there it is. So now you can have CFM custom tags here, CFC custom tags here, and you can still have a global one. So let's go ahead and click on this. As you can see, it shows up. Now I can type in my custom snippets, excuse me, and then if I hit tab, it comes down to the database, and I can type in whatever my database name is. I hit tab, and I'm all the way at the bottom outside of the whole thing. So I can just hit save now. So if we go back to index, remember we had the other snippet, and it was a CFML one. I say doc, it doesn't show up. So I said, okay, let's come back here. Let's copy this code. We still have to have it in other parens. So we'll come back here. So we'll go like this, and then we'll paste that in. And now, even though this is my snippet, it will let me know this is my custom snippet down here. So let's come back here and let's say doc. It's not showing up. So I found certain ones will not show up no matter what I do. So what am I going to do? I copy this, and actually I'm going to cut it because I'm going to delete it. And then we will go and say we're going to create a new snippet, new custom snippet. And this one's going to be a new global custom snippet. And we can say my global, how about just NS global? Well, nah, we'll just say global snippets. There we go. That sounds good. So it creates this. Once again, we delete the commented out stuff because we don't really need it. We paste this in, and now we have our boilerplate. We come back here, we type in doc, and it's not showing up. It looks like it's still red. It's thinking there's errors. Let's see here. We've got this. Oh, there is errors because I copied the whole thing. So let's delete this. Let's highlight this, shift it over, shift tab to move it over one. So now I've got that. I come back here and I save, and now I type doc, and now it shows up. It says HTML boilerplate, but notice it says HTML boilerplate. So let's go back to our global snippets. I put it in the description. I put it the wrong place. This does not need to be here. This needs to be up here, and this is to help when you're looking at your code. So let's go back to the other one, and let's do the same thing. First, let's delete this because we don't want, I don't want two of them. I only want one. And up here is the name, so I'll do that. And then down here is where we had added it. So now, if I go to application.cfc and I type in app, see how it says NS? Maybe I should do a colon. It might look a little better when I'm coding. I don't know. Just my opinion. Doesn't mean you have to. And I don't need to know it's HTML5 boilerplate. I just want it to know it's the boilerplate. That's the shortest amount of text. That's a shorter amount of text. So here, let's go like this, and let's do a colon. Do we need to know it's a CF application? No, we know it's an application. That CFC is a ColdFusion application. And we know our snippet's going to be a template. And we know that it's a CFC. So NS application. That's just me. You can name it whatever you want. So now if I type app, I see NS application. I know that's my custom tag, not work. So if I had another one, let's say I went back to the custom tags here where it's got the application. Let's copy this. Let's say at work, I have a standard thing we do in applications, and I'm going to want to do something different. I can come up here, and I can either delete it, or I can say work, and save. And then let's say for some reason the database name is always the same as the application name. So I'm just going to save that. Let's see what happens. So now if I type app, I get the work one and the custom one that's mine. So let's click on the work one. So now if the database name is the same as the name of the application, I type it once and it's already filled in both of them. So you notice how it showed here at the end after I tabbed out of the last option. It didn't go to the end. So let's go back to our snippet and let's make a change to that. What we're going to do is say we want it to come down here. So we'll say $0, and I'm pretty sure, the way I recall the way this works, app, and I want to do the work one. So I'll just say testing app tab. Third tab puts me down there. So that is one thing you can do to help make your snippets more useful. The faster you can code will help you, because you're going to spend a lot of time thinking about how to code and finding and fixing bugs. But if you're going to do certain code over and over and over and over again through your work history, the more snippets you can build that help you speed up those processes and not accidentally type in the wrong text or the wrong code, it will be a useful benefit over the lifespan of your career. So now we've got application working, and I really don't care what these are, but let's just change them to custom snippets. Right now we don't have any database, so it's fine. If it's if it's got that in the data source, it's fine. So we go back here to application, we say app, and it's still not showing up. Let's see here, we're in the global, doc app. What am I doing? Doc, and so we can see right there it is, hit tap, and now this is my custom snippet. So if I wanted to, if I knew there was always going to be a special title here, or maybe I was going to do something special where I had a particular folder, that's the way you would create these regular custom snippets. I did have in one of my videos, which I don't know if the user who saw this is looking to find out how I did a snippet that generates a batch file that I can just run, and then it will generate all the folders that you want. All it really is just a batch file that can change directories and create folders, like you would do if you were in the command line, and it's all saved in one batch file that you run, and then you can change it to here. So now let's say, okay, we want to create new snippets. We don't want to have to go find someone else's snippet like I just showed you how to get these two. The one thing this application snippet has that a lot of people have not used, Maybe they didn't really need to, but it has the on CFC request. So if you do a search for other application variables, application.cfc files, pick and choose what all you want, come up with your snippet, save it. Maybe you have a standard error file that you use or standard error things that you do. You can just add those in here and save it in your snippet. Okay, you say, but how do I add to a snippet? Well, let's create a new snippet. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to show you, like I said, the old way. Let me make a copy of this so I can put it in my description of my video when I'm done. And I'm going to, let's see here, we're going to go here. Right now we have, let's go back inside of index, H1, nope. I'll have to look into that. Anyway. Okay, so I've got this. This is in the CF Custom Snippets folder. I'm in the CF Custom Snippets folder. Refresh, there's Custom Snippets. One of the first things that you find when you're working at a job, well, what I tend to find is I have my debugging turned on all the time on the development server. Not on the production server, but on the development server. So a lot of times I don't want to see the debugging info until I have an error or something. Then I might turn it on to see if I can figure out what's going on, if I really think I need to, depending on what the error is. So first thing I want to do is make a change to this file right here. Let's make a change where we start off, well, yeah, we'll actually make a change to this, and then I'll show you some other things you can do. So CF setting. So I've got a CF setting, enable CF output only. That would be if you wanted to set up your file where only time it displays text on the screen is when you tell it to inside of a CF output. That's one of the attributes. It's not a required attribute. And the request timeout, in case you need this page to go longer than normal, you can add to it, but it can only go to a certain max. It also kind of depends on how your application, your CF admin is set up. So normally I like mine to be no. So I have a snippet, CF setting. Okay, I have a snippet on my other computer is what it is. If I say CF setting, these are ones that are built in. So you can see down here there's one built in. That's the one I just used just a minute ago. Okay, but let's say we want to turn this into a snippet. What I used to do was I would copy that. I would go here and I would go to Google and I would search for VS Code snippet generator. And then I would come down here to snippet generator app. Pretty sure that's it. Yep, that's it. And I would paste my snippet code in here. It would generate what goes into VS Code, Sublime Text, Atom, depending which IDE you're using. So here would be my description. The description right now would be NS : and it would be show debug output. And I'm not even going to say, because my default's going to be no. So I hit tab to go over here to the trigger. So what would I start typing? Normally I would start typing CF setting. And so since I know I would start typing that first, that's what I'm going to put. So then I could copy this snippet, go back to VS Code, go to our snippet. Now let's see here. This is in the CFM file. It may not work. And before we do that, we have to do this. And I'm going to put a comma here in case it works. Because if it works, we can use it for future. Have it ready to have another one. So if we come back here to our application.cfc, no, our index, I'm sorry. we go ahead and we say, okay, I want to type CF setting, and it's not showing up. So I moved most of my CF snippets to my global one, which, by the way, you can have multiple global ones. So I guess I could call it something else, but maybe somebody can tell me why that's happening to me. So let's come back to the global one, and we will go here, and we will paste. Now we have our new snippet, and I'll put a comma here, and I want to tab this over once. Thank you. So now they're all nice and neat lined up. Another reason to neatly line these up is you can click here, or you can even click here, and real easily get a list of all your snippets. Now, another thing I like to do, I need to move this over one more to do what I want to do. So then if I open this, so if you do this from the beginning, I mean, obviously if you got hundreds of snippets, you're not going to go back and do this. If you move it over one more, I think that's the correct way to do this. If I do this now, no, it's not. Let's see here. I used to do this and it would work. Let's see here. Okay. Well, what I'm trying to do is have it hide. So let's see here. I'm going to change this. Let's see here. Let's see if it'll work if I do this. Because I don't even mind doing that. Yeah, that's not going to work. Well, we'll go back to where it was. So if you click here, you can hide most of the other text. And then when you go here, like that, make sure they all line up. This part should go over once, I think. And then click this. And now, at least it's not too much. And this one here needs to go over one, save. So now I've got these where I can see them. So what I'm going to create next, what I was going to do when I got sidetracked. So we're going to do this setting show debug, which I have right here. So now if I go back to my index and I say, okay, CF setting, and notice it's got my NS show debug output. So I know it's going to do my default what I want. Awesome. I just hit tab. It's in there. It's ready to go. So now I can go back to my browser, hit refresh on this page, and I only have the custom snippets. Now, mind you, it's really bold, but that's because I'm zoomed into 200 to make sure you can see what's going on the screen. So let's see here. We're going to stop here, and now that you know, well, you know what? No, let's don't. It's been 23 minutes. I think I can get the rest of this in one video. So let's see here. Let me show you how I do it now. What you want to do is go to your extensions. Don't look at all of them I've got installed on this machine. This is my home machine. I tend to have a lot of stuff I install to play around with and test. But there's a Snippets, Snippets Manager. And then it's this one right here. It's only got 5,000 downloads. I was looking at all the other snippet managers, and I wasn't real crazy about them. But this one here has got a special place that works really well. So I'm going to say install. So let it finish, and when it finishes, it will add another box over here. And I like to move it down beneath most of the things. Let's put it right here. So what we can do now is we want to create another snippet. One of them, when you're debugging, you tend to use a lot is CF dump. Var equals. So we want to create this one to make it a little faster. It's not going to be much faster, but when you consider doing this tons of times over the career and over every time you're doing things. So if I click here and then I copy this little CF dump snippet, I can either put it in a workspace. Let's say this particular application has a particular kind of a tab or something special that your other applications aren't using. Well, then you can create a little snippet in the workspace, and it will only apply to that workspace. So what we're going to do is we're going to put it in the global one. So if I click here, and I click on one of these, and I say I want to create a new one, I go here and I say, give me a new one. Oh, that's for a new file. Hold on. I want to add you can tell up here at the top it says add snippet. You can tell it's still kind of new to me. So I go down here, I put the body in real quick. I want the name of it to be ns cf dump. I want the prefix. We'll worry about the you know what? I have not tried the prefix in here. We'll try that in a minute. Right now, I just simply want to call this cf dump, and this one down here, I'm going to say $1, which if we go back and look in our code, and this one right here, it's $code, but it's got brackets, the squiggly brackets around it, and the $. So let's go back to global, and we simply say, I want to do this, and what was the setting? A colon, yep, okay, and we'll do a colon, and this is going to be, I'm just going to say variable. I'm going to go ahead and hit save. Then we will go back to this here. It did not keep that, I did not put that up there, so let's change that. Let's say edit, and this is going to be let's see here, cf dump, save. So now we've got that saved. Let's go back here and see if I did it right. Dump, tab. Okay, so I didn't do it right because I'm not used to using the snippet editor. So if we look in here, it has double quotes. Okay, so let's go back to our snippet editor and say we want to edit the body. We don't need quotes because this is going to be inside. So save that. So now if I come back here, it should work just fine. So I have, let's say I want to dump the request variable right here. So I just type cf dump, I hit tab, and it's still not working. So let's go see, what did I do now? Let's actually fix it here. So double quote, cf dump, $1. Oh, duh. I got the $sign in the wrong spot. My fault. So it is working, just not working the way I want. So I fixed it. So now I can simply say cf dump, tab, and request. And that's not it, because what you would normally have is you would have double quotes, and you would have pounds, and you would have request. So let's copy this, go back to our snippet here, and let's change this to make this work. So if we look at it, we should have a double quote, but with a backslash to escape the double quote, and another backslash to escape this one. So now we have that, but right before we go any further, let's see here. That's the backslash. So we do a pound here, and a pound there. I think that's all you need. Let's get rid of this. Save it. Go back here to index, and let's simply say, well, first, let's just say request. Because normally when I'm working and I'm coding and I use a variable, I copy the variable. I don't cut it, I usually just copy it, but CF dump, so I hit tab, paste, and it's ready to go. So that saves me a lot of time. Now, considering it's been 30 minutes, I'm going to stop here, and I will make another snippet video because there's a lot more snippets I use, and certain ones I recommend. Like this dump one, I usually have 2 or 3 other kind of dumps, and I can show you those at some point. Let me know if you're actually interested and if this has helped you. Definitely check out using the new Snippet Manager. It may take a little while for me as well to get used to using it, because one of the things is I'm trying to get used to, like this one here, I put a dash in there, so I need to change the name of that. So I can always go back here to do it manually, or I can go there and do it. So this one is the NS dump, so get rid of this, save, there we go. But we'll figure it out. You keep coding, and I'll try to make another video. If you have questions, if you want to hear about more of my snippets, please let me know. I like to have people like what I'm doing and subscribe if it's helped. Please like and subscribe. If it's not helping you, then obviously don't subscribe, because I'm going to keep making videos that I like in hopes that it's helping you. Another thing I want you to understand is that nobody is an expert. You learn as you go, and you'll never feel like you're the expert. So that's okay. At the beginning, you start thinking you're really doing good, and then you start feeling imposter syndrome come on, and you never feel like you're the expert. So it's okay. As long as you continue coding, you'll continue learning, and you'll grow, and you'll look back over your career, and you'll be like, wow, I remember when I did this and that, and how bad it was. So keep coding, and let me know things you want and need. I code when I have time, so I make these videos when I have time. And I'm working on making a few today and this holiday. So hopefully you have a good Thanksgiving, and talk to you later. Bye.